We are a gift that Spirit gives to itself. Our experience of life, our unique and creative expressions in this world, is Spirit's opportunity to experience and express itself through, for, and as us. No one else brings our unique gifts to this party. It's time to notice Spirit loves being itself as us. And all those big, beautiful words we use to describe the attributes of God, love, light, wholeness, harmony, creativity, abundance, joy, are what Spirit yearns to see, feel more fully embodied in us and as us. Let's get on with it. Let's say yes to being it. And then let's spread and share that inner light out into our world. As we go into meditation, I invite you to affirm, I seize this day, embracing its unlimited possibilities. as you bring your attention gently back to the sound of my voice, let us know that God is all there is. And it's infinite, eternal, all-knowing, everywhere present, and all-powerfulness. And that there is nothing outside of this divine wholeness, this oneness, this one heart, this one mind of God. And we each express the infinite possibilities while all still being part, essentially part of the whole. And in this consciousness of oneness, I know that today's service is divinely guided, that the words that come through Reverend Angela and Reverend Suzette are perfect for each ear in its individual, unique way. And the music uplifts us, and the technology spreads us to every corner of the world at every place and time, all at once. And I speak these words into the law of mind, knowing it is so. I say, thank you, Mother, Father, God, and so it is. And let's hear some more from TJ. TJ Moss.
Good morning, everybody. Some new faces in the crowd. Hi. Hey, Jerry. I wasn't going to say there's some old faces in the crowd, too. Did I say that by not saying that? It's good to be here, as always. I got a new song today. I had a guitar lesson with a student, and he had just acquired cages full of songbirds. And we sat there, and he had gone in to put on some tea, and I just started playing this, like you do. And this bird just started singing with me. And it was the coolest thing. And he was the operatic bird, the drama king. He was just going at it, and it just kind of sparked this little thing in me, and I was like, and what came to me was, birds don't ask if they can sing, they just do. And that's what this song is called, They Just Do. Take a moment and picture this bird. Birds don't ask if they can sing. Phones don't ask if they can ring. They just do, do 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 do. They just do. Stars don't ask if they can shine. Trees don't ask if they can climb. They just do, do 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 do. Things just do. They just do. No explaining, no refraining, nothing to prove. They just do. That's right. They just do. Bones don't ask if they can break. Hearts don't ask if they can ache. They just do, do 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 do. Things just do. ask if they can grow up. Bombs don't ask if they can grow up. Bombs don't ask if they can blow up. That's right. They just do, do 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 do. Things just do. They just do. No explaining, no refraining, nothing to prove. They just do. No explaining, no complaining, nothing to lose. And when you think that you're doing nothing, you're still doing something. Things just do. They just do. Fires don't ask if they can rage. Dreams don't ask if they can fade. They just do, do 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 do. Things just do. They just do. No explaining, no refraining, nothing to prove. They just do. No permission, no position, nothing to lose. And when you think that you're doing nothing, you're still doing something. Things just do. They just do. They just do. Do 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 do. They just do.
Let's give him another round. Yay. Yeah. I'm watching him up here going, click, 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 click. And then click. And then, no, I don't want that one. Click off. You're good. You are really good. Well, I really want to welcome, I haven't seen you in a long time. I know. Good. You look great too. I want to welcome everybody that's here, those that are on the internet. We have some new guests on the internet. And I'm just really excited today to do something different. And I'll talk a little bit about it, and I know that Angela probably will too. And that is to bring people together. Bring us together to realize that we're greater than what we quote unquote appear. And so today is about collaboration, about love, about understanding and growing. So I'm going to let Reverend Angela speak first, and then I'll follow up with my half afterwards. So let's give Reverend Angela Geary a very well welcome.
Thanks, everybody. It's so lovely to be here with all of you.
Can we hear you?
Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to stand right here like this. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. So, such a beautiful song. Thank you. And what is it that we just naturally and organically do? That's what came to me. And I think what's natural and organic and innate in us is to just love. That when all the walls come down, when all the grudges are left behind at the end of the day, when all those feelings or senses of separation have fallen away, what's left is what we do as we love. That's what we're born here for. You know, I love to say we're manifestations of love from the one heart itself. And that our heart beats in rhythm with the very pulse of the universe. And that love is the greatest power. And I want to thank Reverend Suzette for being love in action. Because love is an action word, and we talk a lot about it. And so love says there's room for everyone to shine. Love says this is our collective community. Not this is mine and this one down the street is yours and this. Love says, let's collaborate. Love isn't about competition. So what we do is love. And so this morning to me feels like love in action, our innate potential coming through. So it's such a joy to be here, and it's such a joy to be with Reverend Suzette at this beautiful Om Center. And I want to say hi to my peeps and all Suzette's peeps and all the people that are getting on today on, is it Zoom we're on? Zoom?
Yeah, we're on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're up there.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi.
They're over there.
Oh, they're over there. I'm looking at the, where do we say hi?
Right, there's the camera.
Okay, got it. Okay, they got it. Okay, hi. All right. So you may have heard this story before. There's a story of a monastery, a failing monastery. And the monks are kind of grumpy, and they've lost their sparkle and shine, and they're sort of just shuffled through what they're meant to do without really being fully present. And the garden is overgrown, and there's weeds in it, and the actual building is failing. And it used to be a really thriving monastery, and people would walk by and admire it. And the abbot didn't know what to do. So he went out into the woods to meet with the wise woman. And he asked her, he said, what do you think is going on? I can't understand it. We've lost our vitality. We're not expanding. We're stuck. And she sat for a while. And after a while, she said, I don't know what it is, but what I will tell you is there's a bodhisattva amongst you, meaning there's an anointed one. There's a holy one amongst you. And so the abbot went back to the monastery and related this to the monks and to everybody there. And everybody started perking up a little bit, like, maybe he's the bodhisattva. Maybe he's the anointed one. Maybe it's over there. And from that, maybe I'm the bodhisattva. And after a while, the monastery started thriving again. The monks became happier. They took care of the garden. The weeds were gone. The flowers started to bloom, because that's what flowers do, they bloom. And the grass got greener, and the inside of the building got taken care of, and the monks were in communion again with each other and in love again with each other. And people started coming by, and the monastery expanded. And that, of course, is just a story of the unlimited potentiality that exists when we remember who we are. When we remember who we are, all is possible. So that's what I want to talk about today, that within us all is that full potentiality. We're born with it. Just like all the potentiality for an oak tree lives in the acorn. It does. It lives within us. And as we remember this, as we return to this, as we build our spiritual practices and we think and we act and we feel in ways that are congruent and in alignment with this truth, that truth within us that we've always been, it emerges. We don't attract it from somewhere out there. It's already within us, just like the oak tree emerges from the acorn. The divine truth of love and peace and wisdom and joy and unity makes itself known through and as us. It's already there. The pattern of perfection, the seed of the divine, is planted in the seed of our soul. And instead of making it happen, we just simply allow it. Just like the flower just allows the flower to bloom. And really, any good gardener knows that It's not the seed that they plant that brings about the beautiful blossoming or the beautiful manifestation. It's the cultivating of the soil. It's the tending to and the nurturing of the soil that brings forth the blossom, the beautiful manifestation. And so for us, as we tend to the soil of our soul, the soil of our consciousness, through being love in action, through gathering as we're gathering today, through our meditation, our prayer work, our practices, through our affirmations, all these principles and tools that we have under our belt, right? Then the truth about us is released and realized through and as us. I had a quote from Joel Goldsmith said, Ernest Holmes, within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experience. Ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. Ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. Our potential, if you take one thing from what I'm saying, is to remember this in every hour, and maybe particularly in the darkest hour. Our potential is greater than our problems. Our potential is greater than our problems. Ernest Holmes says there's nothing to be healed, only truth to be revealed. Nothing to be healed, only truth to be revealed. And while we need to do our inner work and excavate the false beliefs and doubts and fears that block us, more than that, because we can do that forever, we get out of the way and let that truth be revealed through and as us. It happens naturally and organically when we align our consciousness with spiritual truth. We don't have to strive. We don't have to effort. We just let it emerge. And we know that because the divine seed of spirit lives in us, then we are one with this field, this realm, what do we say, of unlimited possibilities and pure potentiality. So we don't get fooled by the world of appearances. You know, and the Buddhists, and we like to say in the spiritual circles that, the conditions and appearances and circumstances and problems of our life are an illusion. Well, they're real. You know, they're real. That's a challenging one, right? They're real. The illusion is the power we give them. The illusion is the power we give them. The illusion is thinking that these are the only truths that are going on, or that they're spiritual truth in the first place, right? We know that there's a parallel universe, a mystical realm that has its own laws, just like our physical world has laws. This mystical realm has laws that are not bound by time or space or matter. Anything is possible within them. We know in that realm, one of the laws or truths is that consciousness precedes form. So as we shift our consciousness, as we tend to the soil of our soul and our consciousness, our problems, our challenges miraculously go away. Because mostly, and maybe always, it's not the circumstances of our life that are needing changing. The circumstances of our life are calling us to change. They're calling us to change. They're calling us to let our roots, she says, up like this, those would be branches, roots would be down here, well, to be rooted in the earth, but the branches of spirit to move up into that realm and know who we are in spirit. Doesn't matter what the doctor said. It doesn't matter what the bank, I mean, it does matter, don't get me wrong, but it's not the only truth. And we can't put all our thinking, all of our energy into what's in the bank account, what the doctor said, what's going on in the relationship. What we can know is what is steady and essential and true within us and within this mystical realm, the very mind of God, is that love is all there is, that this is an abundant universe, that there's cause and effect, that our thinking and our intentions and our prayer work can create miracles in our life, that we can shift things with the power of our thought, with the power of our intention. You know, there's that book by Mary O'Malley that comes to mind. It's called What's in the Way is the Way. What's in the way is the way. And these are challenging times. Collectively, personally, it seems like a lot of people are experiencing grief, heartache, financial struggles. Just, it's not in the physical realm on earth, maybe. Not so easy right now. So we're tender and gentle with ourselves. Everything is here by divine appointment. There are no mistakes in God. And I still put my faith, or I continue to put my faith in a power for good and a universe that wants only one thing, and that is to keep evolving and keep expanding. And maybe everything that's going on in our life and everything that's going on in the life of our country and on the planet is all part of that evolution. We are being called individually and collectively into a unity consciousness, into an energy of collaboration, of equality, of love, a returning to love itself as the greatest power. What if what you're dealing with right now, what is it that brings us to our knees, is the way? It's the way. It's getting our attention. And there's a higher truth to always be known. We don't look and say, what can't I do? We look and say, what can I do? We look and say, there's a divine spark within me, filled with courage and power and love and wisdom and joy. I have everything I need. We can, Carolyn Mace calls it defying gravity, going to that other realm where miracles can happen. All right, let's take a breath. Derek Rydell wrote the book Emergence, and he talks about the emerging principle, that whenever we want to manifest or create something, we're not attracting it from out there. We're creating the soil and the conditions within our own being to welcome it in. So I welcome in the healing of this disease. I welcome in the abundance of money into my life. I welcome in love returning in this relationship, whatever it is. We make room for it. And he says we have to ask better questions. Not why can't I, why can I? Because question is the quest that we are on. The question is the quest that we are on. I love that. So if our question is, why am I always failing? We'll get lots of answers. If the question is, why does everybody leave me or betray me or fill in the dots, right? We will get lots of answers. Righteous judgment. Ask and you shall receive. We ask, what is the great vision for my life, and what is this challenge, like I said, seeking to activate in me? We ask those questions. What is there a blessing and is there a gift in this? And often we don't see that blessing and that gift for years in something that's happened, right? Anyone had that experience? So at this stage in our lives, I think we can at the very least, have faith and trust that there is a gift and there is a blessing. Because we're loved by God, we're loved by the universe, and the things that happen to us are not punishment, and they're not our bad karma, although that's a whole nother talk on karma. But, we can wipe out a lot of karma through loving fiercely. I love this. He said people who move into this realm that we're talking about, he says they turn their tombstones into stepping stones. And he talks about having a backbone, not a wishbone. Standing with that faith of God, Goddess itself, rooted in the knowing, with deep faith and conviction of who we are, who we've always been, and who we will continue to be, and where our source is, and where our power is. We affirm that. And when we live in that, we live in the unlimited potentiality and possibilities of spirit. Life is not personal. It feels like it sometimes. Sure feels like it. We have to be tender and gentle. And I don't advocate spiritual bypass, by the way. I don't advocate, oh God, I'm really hurt. But it's all good and it's all God. Like, we can be with our feelings. We understand we're human beings as well as divine beings. But we can't stay there too long. We can't set up camp there. We've got to go to the spiritual truth. And the truth is, we have a container within us big enough to hold the feelings that emerge, that need to be tended to lovingly, and the spiritual truth that we know. We have to remember both. So the principle, I think, here is that, we're called to grow through our challenges. That everything is here by divine appointment, and the principle is that our potential is greater than our problems or our challenges. We live in that and trust that no matter what shows up. Some of you may know I was at a celebration of life yesterday for Reverend Kevin Busey's partner of 24 years, Tim Hepburn, who was an amazing guy. Made his transition really suddenly. And, that's a tragedy, and that's sad. And we can't pretend that. But life is also infinite and ongoing. And we can also know that Tim has just gone back to the light that he always was and we knew him to be. That his soul is on to his next great adventure. That infinite light within him is free. So just an example of how we can hold both truths, right? Both truths at the same time. So we're here to serve what is emerging. What is emerging? It's a question. What's emerging through me right now? And what would I be, and what would I feel, and what would I do, and what would I think if I was already in that realm? So we just have to adapt, I think, new mental habits, or renew some of the ones we already have been doing and maybe slackened off a bit, right? We get back to, instead of what's wrong, what's possible. Instead of what I don't have, look how abundant I am. Counting our blessings. Practicing the attitude of gratitude. We feel deep, we feel into the feeling tone that we want to have manifest. Ernest Holmes says in a spiritual mind treatment, that's our 5-step form of affirmative prayer, it's the feeling behind the treatment that causes the manifestation. It's not the words, Because I can stand here and say, I'm so joyful. I am just filled with happiness and joy right now. And I can say that 10 times, 3 times a day, like a good little Catholic girl doing her work, right? I'm not joyful. But if I can breathe in and recall a time, maybe when I'm on my knees in sorrow or grief, when I was really joyful, and I can feel that in my body, and I can say, I'm so joyful. I give thanks for the joy that I am. I feel it in this moment pulsing through me. That, the universe responds to the feeling tone. Same with abundance. That's what gratitude does. That's what counting our blessings does. When we feel like we don't have enough, right? It gives us that feeling of it. And then being. We activate this consciousness. And everybody said about Tim Hepburn, what a kind, generous, sweet, loving, impish, not a beautiful being, really, truly. And it's true, right, anyone? I mean, everybody said that. And the legacy that he left, because in our wonderful organization and in our wonderful churches, believe it or not, sometimes breakdowns happen. Sometimes there's arguments that don't always get resolved, or misunderstandings that don't always get resolved. People leave a center and go to another center. You know, right? We won't get into it all, but we'll do that another time when I know you better. No, I'm just kidding. But
It's true.
it's true. But what I was saying to Rev Suzette before is the beauty. Yesterday was everybody came. Everyone came. Everyone came to love Rev Kevin in his heartache, no matter what history they had. Everybody came to love Tim for the amazing guy that he was, whether they'd seen him in the last 5 or 10 years. Why? Because the infinite potential of love called us all there, to be there together in love, like no time had passed. It was like a homecoming, and it was at Vision Center for Spiritual Living, and so Vision was part of it. It was beautiful and wonderful. It was love, and Tim was love in action. All the stories we heard were about him being love in action. So we practiced being love in action. Howard Thurman has a beautiful prayer and just a saying that always sticks with me. It's like, how can I be more loving? I want to be more loving in my heart. How can I be more loving? I want to be more loving in my heart. When we start the day with that, when we repeat that when the driver cuts us off, when we repeat that when we have a difficult conversation with someone, when we just keep coming back to that, we are activating this divine potential within us. So as we rise into that consciousness, our problems don't get solved, they just dissolve back into the nothingness from which they arose. We stand with a new consciousness. We stand expanded, open-hearted, ready to receive our divine and inherent birthright, the seed of love planted in us, living, and we water it, and we nurture it, and we cultivate it, and we tend to it, and we give all to the power of love this day. Thank you.
Wow.
Sorry, that was a bit long.
It's okay.
Can't imagine what she left for you to say.
I don't know. It's quite okay. I love listening to Angela because she goes into that really deep place. We're going to probably go a couple minutes over, so. But she goes to that deep place, which to me is where spirit resides. And it's so obvious that it's in you. And I'm grateful. I mean, Well, we're going to get into that in a minute. So I want to start with a quote. It says, "Our past can always be useful to educate us as to what hasn't worked. But those experiences don't have to label us or define us. We can choose to decide who we want to be from this minute right now." Right now. So my take on this is really about the expansion of this. But I also think that it's important for you to know a little bit about the two of us. Angela and I have known each other for probably 20 years, maybe longer.
Yes,
I-
Kathy Hearn's.
Maybe longer. We went to ministerial school together, and then we went our own ways. Both of us, I'll say, both of us have had a history of ups and downs. You know, I know I'm writing a dissertation about different things, and one of the things I've learned is that it's not always what you think it is. And so her and I have both had some ups and downs. We've talked a lot about love, and today is also about forgiveness. And it's about appreciating the different paths that we've gone, and yet coming together today to collaborate something new, something unique, and something divine. What we're doing today may not seem like a lot to you, but you need to know in 20 plus years, you would not see what we're doing today because of the thing that they call competition. And especially in San Diego, we have so many churches. And so I'm here to stand up with Angela, and we have another guest here in a couple weeks, to say we're here to collaborate. We're here to change the mold because we are bigger than what we appear. We are bigger. Ernest Holmes says this. He says, "I rise to meet the new day, filled with confidence and strength. I rise to go forth into the dawn, inspired and refreshed by the living spirit within me." Science of Mind says this. I'm going to read this because these are their words, but I want you to know that what we do, again, is a new territory. But we need to know that we are supported by the universe. What we're doing is a new idea. But the universe has come through both of us. Interesting how we finally came back together to create something good, something different in our own community, so that we see a bigger light. In fact, I was surprised when I heard that Vision did the celebration. I think that's really cool. Yeah. It's really cool. We all came together to celebrate an incredible man. And I didn't know Tim very well, but he was always there. He was this silent entity around and just held the light for all of us. So I know he's holding that light today. The thing is we have to embrace these possibilities. We can no longer sit around and go, let's do it the way we did it yesterday. The world is changing, right? It's tough out there. You know, they talk about, I read a lot about in fact, I almost want to say I hate this, but it's important for me to see it, is that I see these little clips about why people don't go to church. And the truth is, the only truth is that we need each other. We need each other. Because we cannot do this alone. You can do it alone and drive yourself crazy, or you can do it together and do it crazy. But the crazy is about love now. It's not about forcing it. It's about love. It's about giving the opportunity for someone to heal whatever that thing is, and knowing that as they go through it, my life is going to get better because I'm with them. I got chills on that one. Thank you, God. So I know for myself this has been a journey. This has been a journey. And I'm going to talk about three things today. One is conscious evolution. Angela's talked a little bit about that. Embracing the idea that I and we are a gift of spirit, and along the way have learned to choose again and again and again and again and again. So conscious evolution. The word evolution means we have to dissolve the old form. Dissolve the old form. CSL is going through a huge dissolve of the old form, and then construct something new that can unfold. We don't know what that looks like, right? How many of you in your life right now have something you want, but you don't know what it's going to look like? Everybody. We all do. There's always something that's being developed. But this causes us to stretch. It causes us to do something different. Causes us to think outside the box. I don't think I've thought outside the box like I am right now for a long time. I mean, one of the questions in my tests are, what is truth? How do you define in God I love, or I trust in God? How do you define that? We have to look beyond just what's in front of us. But what else is it? What else? I wrote this, and I'm going to read it because I thought it was profound. This was a God idea. It says, along the way, look within, listen, and then be brave enough to step off the cliff of life. We have to jump off and not be afraid that we're not going to be caught. I mean, just look at your life right now, and you know what? It still works. For whatever age you are, it still works. So you're still here, which means you're going to still be here tomorrow. Now, I do know that life can be clouded with old ideas and appearances, and those things actually block us. I'm going through a situation at home real briefly where I have my mother-in-law is going to be coming back next week. She's been in a SNF for a month to the day. And it's tough. It's really tough because she is a perfectionist and she's telling us what to do. And what she doesn't know is we've done all these other things. So it's just one of those where there are these huge differences in ideas. But the truth is, there's really one truth going on here, and that is called trust. She has to trust us, and we have to trust her. And we'll figure out how to weave that together. Same thing about evolving. We have to trust that Spirit is moving through us, in us, and as us, and whatever we do, it's going to continue. It will continue. So, one of the things that Angela pointed out was those qualities of God. We put them on our wall. Now, the reason why I leave these up on the wall is because those are powerful words. They're powerful in the sense that every single one of them gives you, like you talked about joy. I'm really joyful now. If there is something going on in your life and you need support with it, find one word. Just one word up there today. Everybody, find a word today. Go find one. Look at it. And what I encourage you to do right now is to live that word all week long. Live it. If you're joyful, be joyful. Sophia is just joy. Everybody knows Sophia. She acts like joy. She laughs like the Dalai Lama to me. She's joyful. She's got it in her. It's all about her. So find your word today, and I just challenge you to be that all week. Find the word that's hard for you right now, not the easy word, okay? Find the hard word. So today, I really want you to say yes. I want you to say yes. And I have a picture here, and I want you to visualize this with me, is that each time we give up our gift away, because part of what I teach here is that I teach you the thing, and then I go give it away. Because if you give away that quality to somebody else, you have brightened their day. You have made a difference. So I'm going to give you an image of the world. It's not really what was intended for, but in my opinion, it's what, if we all did this, this is what the world would look like. Imagine you were one of those pieces of light. And if we were all together, think of us as that little clump on the bottom left. That's all of us in this room right now going, yeah, I get it, I know it, I want it, I'm here, I'm doing my thing, and I'm happy. Then we would all light up the world just like that. There's absolutely no other thing that we should be doing. Now, I know in my household it's not easy. It's not easy. And sometimes, in fact, I mentioned to Angela this morning, I said, I need to go somewhere for about an hour and recharge. I'm experiencing a little bit of vertigo, and I'm like, what's that about? It's because I'm overwhelmed. I get it. I understand that. And if I know that about me, it doesn't have to be bad. It has to be real. We talked about being real. But I have to then go take care of me. I can't expect anybody else to go do that. The last point that I want to make, and I think this is really, really critical, is that we are all at choice. We're at choice as to how we think, how we feel, how we act, our belief systems. But the truth is, being at choice doesn't mean you have to ignore. It just means you hear, you listen, and then you make your decisions based upon those things. And I used to hate it when somebody told me that you're at choice here. It's your issue, not theirs. And I know that during growing up as a minister, we've had to make lots of choices. Many choices that weren't easy. Many choices. But part of I think, and it's funny, I'll tell you this one little quick story. When Angela and I started ministerial school, there's a class, you are introduced to the ministry. And there's one thing they say to every single minister that starts. You remember this?
No.
You will as soon as I say it. If there's anything else you can do, go do it.
Yes.
If there's anything else you can do, go do it. And they don't tell you why. The why is because you have to release all the old stuff. You have to start new. You have to make yourself feel better because nobody else is going to do it. And I can tell you right now, there's probably 1,000 times over the last 16 years there, that I've had to say that to myself. What's that old thing in there that's stopping me? What's that fear around me? What's that lack of curiosity? What is that tiredness that I have? I have to look at that, and then I have to do what vertigo doesn't do, but I have to balance it. I have to heal the wounds. I have to look differently than, and I say that because this is what we're talking about today. It's the emergence. We have to let go of that stuff. It doesn't serve us anymore. It doesn't serve us anymore. The other thing, and this is along the way, I don't know about you, but I learned that I have a lot of old patterns and beliefs. And I tell you, I can remember my shoulders being really high. Now they're getting smooth. Because I can't do that anymore either. I know that I have to go in the opposite direction. I have to go somewhere else. I can no longer have a belief that I can do it all. Angela, and I'm going to say this about, Angela mentioned how everybody here just does what they do. And you know why? I wrote about this in my dissertation. It's because I personally want to empower people to be responsible of themselves. And that's when you are served here today, there are several people here, many people here, who are serving this community. And I don't monitor them. If I have a problem or something, I talk about it. We're a healthy organization because I want them to be responsible for this, which is your center, which is your church. Another thing is stop beating myself up for making mistakes. Who's made a mistake this week? Okay. When we make mistakes, we just learn it's okay. But please stop doing it. Don't stop beating yourself up. Oh my God, it's so hard out there. In fact, on your chair, you had one of these. I asked them to put one of these on your chair. What do you think this is for? Notes. Oh yeah, these are the notes you're taking on writing. What do you think this was for? Why I put this on? I'm going to tell you. Do you know how many mistakes were made before they figured out the right amount of goo to put on this so that it would stick and then still come off? Thousands of mistakes. Thousands. So take this home and put it on your head.
probably the only one in this room that knows that. Because of what you do for a living.
Yeah, probably. Well, I've heard the story many times. And this didn't, it says on the back, I think it says a different company. It was really 3M that started this. One man in 3M who started this entire process. And nobody believed. He thought, well, that's a stupid idea. So he made a bunch of them and gave them to all the secretaries in IBM. And then that was the beginning. That was the launch. That was the launch. And then they perfected it, and how many millions and billions of dollars have they made off of it, right? The last thing I want to say is that it's important that you choose something better. Go a little bit out of your comfort zone and then just move forward on it. Even if it's a little tiny step at a time. I love when you said, you don't have to believe the doctor. Well, you can hear the doctor. I love it you did that. And listen to the doctor and understand the doctor, but there's always another way. I can't tell you how many times somebody's come to me and told me the worst news there is possible. And I said, let's ask somebody else. Let's check that out. Let's move forward a different way. Because it isn't necessarily that. In fact, one person thought they had cancer, and I said, let's just double check that. They ended up having a bruise. You can't always, you need to know what's good for you, what's right for you, and then you move forward. But as you do that, be gentle with yourself. Who beats themselves up? We all do. It's okay. Go somewhere and have some ice cream or something. But let go of that beating up of yourself.
And then don't beat yourself up for eating the ice cream.
That's right. There you go. Or eating the ice cream. So just know that each day is a path of wonder. And it's a different invitation. No matter what it is. It's just different. It's new. It's profound. It can be more profound if you want it to be. And if you have questions or you need help, we have practitioners and ministers that want to help you. So I'm going to leave you with this. And then I'll pray us out. Every morning when you wake up, every morning, I want you to know that the good in life awaits you. There's nothing out there that's going to get you. It's about you knowing that Spirit is moving through you and you have power. You have power to empower people, and you have power to choose something greater. The last thing is the universe is listening. Do you know what I mean? It's listening to you. If you say no, it says, okay, let's say no. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to grab this day, I'm going after it, and whatever happens, happens, but I'm moving forward. The universe says, I'm going to back you up. I'm going to back you up. So I went over about 5 minutes. So we're going to pray now, and then we'll bring back TJ. Okay, so let's close our eyes. And let us know right here where we are that there's power in this room. There's God in this room. There's a way. There is a way. And so I bless the conversation that we've had today. The conversation of knowing that there's something greater moving in our lives. And we but just ask, and we shall receive. Spirit moves through each and every life in a different way. A new way, a profound way, and a good way. And so I bless each of you that are either listening to this, will listen later, that is in the room, knowing that you have come forth to hear this truth about yourselves. You're divine. You're special. You are incredible. And the world needs you now more than ever. So I just give thanks for this day, for the conversation, for the love in the room, for the possibilities. And I release these words into the infinite law of mind, your mind, my mind, the world's mind, knowing that we have that kind of power to change the realm outside. So with that, I give thanks, and so it is. Amen. Yay. Bring that. Come on, up, girl. I want